To support each other. Hello, hi, okay. In mind, I want to, nobody's gonna pay attention to me. They're just gonna pay attention to you. Got some water, stay hydrated. Got some for you too. So I figured that I would explain sort of what I'm doing with this whole page, right? I wanted to sort of like correct what I said in my car. I just wasn't too happy with the way I worded everything. I figured that I would just do like almost like a follow-up or just like a correction of everything, you know, that I said in my car. Just because, you know, I wanted to word it a little bit differently, and it was after a workout and I was kind of brain dead, so I didn't really know what to say or couldn't really word anything correctly. So I wanted to sort of explain the whole goal, like aspirations, like what I want to do with this page, where I want to go, you know, what I have plans to do with everything. And I figured the easiest way for me to explain that is sort of to explain my backstory a little bit, or history with, you know, YouTube, influencing, entertainment, all that stuff. So back in, I think it was 8th grade, it was 7th or 8th grade, I think it was 2013, I stumbled across this guy who was posting YouTube videos from a homeless shelter, and he was playing a game on the 3DS. I've always been a huge gamer. I'm an absolute nerd. He was playing a video game on the 3DS called Fire Emblem, which I was very into at the time. Played the crap out of it, and I just wanted to like watch more videos about people playing Fire Emblem. And so I looked up, you know, Fire Emblem, YouTube, whatever, and I saw this guy. You know, he had this funky hair. Literally had the hair of like a paintbrush, right? And I was like, man, this dude looks interesting. Like, let's watch his video. And so in the video, he was literally explaining, like, I'm literally filming this in a homeless shelter right now. And I was like, wow, it just blew my mind. Like, I was like, this guy is like really trying to do YouTube. Like, this is what he wants to do. And so I subscribed almost immediately because, you know, not only was he streaming from that, he was also incredibly entertaining to watch. Like, so funny, so funny, like super loud. The guy was hilarious, and, you know, 13-year-old Davey thought it was the funniest thing ever. So I subscribed immediately. Like, it was hands down like the most entertaining person I've ever watched. And so his account name was Edico World Network. And so I subscribed in 2013 or 2014. I can't remember what year it was. And he was streaming from a homeless shelter, and he would post videos, I think, like literally almost every day a week. Like, this guy was just posting so much content. I was eating it up because he was like this hidden gem that I found. You know, I found this guy at like literally like less than 1,000 subscribers. Like, I was like, wow, this guy's awesome, right? And so eventually he posted consistently, stuck with it, and he grew his following to the point where he could move out of the homeless shelter and into, I think it was an apartment. And so he moved into an apartment, bought a better camera, bought a better setup, and continued the whole YouTube thing. And he ran this YouTube account for, you know, years, and just kept on growing, super exponential growth. And it was super inspiring. And when I was in high school, like, I wouldn't say I had no friends, but I didn't have that many. I spent a lot of my time gaming, watching anime, or watching YouTube. And when I was on YouTube, I would pretend, you know, like these guys, not pretend, but I would be like, you know, watching my friends, right? Like, Etika at that time was my friend, I would consider 100%. I watched all of his videos, had notifications on, commented on some of his stuff. He was like the one guy I wanted to meet. And so when it came to his channel, like in high school, I took so much inspiration from like what this guy had to say, like what his stories he had to tell, you know, and then I got to see him go from literally nothing to just shy of 1 million subscribers. Just almost broke 1 million. The thing was, though, is that like I literally hailed this guy. Like, he was like, I loved him. Like, out of every YouTuber that I ever watched, I always loved watching YouTube or drew inspiration from YouTubers, but Edico was the number one for me. He had just sort of this life advice. He had this aura about him. It was incredible. So I absolutely loved watching his videos. I literally watched this guy go from absolutely nothing to astronomical success just from YouTube, and then he also streamed on Twitch. And it was like one of those things where it was like, you know, I was an OG, I was there from the start. Like, I literally saw who this guy was, and like I knew, you know, I had belief that he would be something someday. And he literally did it right in front of my eyes, and so it was incredibly inspiring. And like, you know, from watching him, I was always like, I want to be a YouTuber, you know, I want to do this for a living, because I knew the impact that he had on somebody, that possibly out there I could do that for somebody else. And so, you know, from literally like age 14, I've always wanted to do YouTube. I just never really went about it, or I always thought I needed somebody, especially with like fitness, which is like my niche, which I don't want it to be my niche, but you know, it's something that I do a lot, right? It's like the biggest part of my life. A lot of fitness YouTubers have people who record them, and so I was always like, I need a cameraman, whatever. Well, no, I don't need a cameraman. I'm gonna make it work, because the thing is, like, I'm tired of the way things are going. I want to find a sort of community and grow a community that really gets along with each other, is like very wholesome, like similar to what Daddy Noel has. He's got like the greatest community in my opinion. I want something extremely similar to that. But anyways, so going back to the Etika situation, he was probably the biggest role model in my life. I had, you know, a role model. His name was Paul Rabel. When I played lacrosse, absolutely loved him, but lacrosse is like no longer a part of my life. Like, I'm not a lacrosse player anymore. My first dream was to be a professional lacrosse player, but I just couldn't make it happen, and it is what it is. So like, Paul Rabel was not, you know, the ultimate role model for me, but Etika was. And so after he had the crazy success that he had in 2019, yeah, it was definitely 2019. In 2019, he made the decision to take his own life. And the thing is that with that, like, such a beautiful soul was lost, you know? Like, somebody that I looked up to, I looked forward to seeing their videos, I looked forward to seeing what they had to post, I looked forward to seeing what they had to say about everything, you know, any piece of advice or any words of wisdom were taken to heart, like, completely. Like, I literally I have so many videos of his, like, saved on my phone or screen recorded, because I love this guy. Like, he was like my best online friend, even though I never got to meet him. He would hide, you know, how he truly felt behind the scenes. You know, nobody, you know, he had a few instances where there were some signs of, you know, like some problems, and his community was, at first it was amazing, it was phenomenal, but after the first, you know, he had a little, I guess, break from YouTube. He took some time off, you know, for some reason, and his community just started clowning him, and they clowned him enough to the point where he couldn't take it anymore. So he made that decision, which impacted hundreds of thousands of people, right? Like, the community that was making fun of him at that point in time, every single person obviously regrets that, you know. Like, I understood it from the start. Like, I understood it when I started seeing signs of, you know, just he wasn't all right, you know, he was not in a good place, and, you know, this dark side of his community decided to capitalize on that and continue to clown him until he made that decision. And so it left me, and I'm sure literally thousands of other people, heartbroken, right? Like, we lost our role model, we lost our hero. And you know, from that point on, I was like, this is something I have to do. Like, I have to make like a social media, I have to make a page, and like, I need to do this, right? And so I think it was literally end cap of 2019, I created an Instagram account and made it a fitness account, because I loved lifting. Lifting was always a part of my, you know, passion, and it was something I always loved doing. So I made a fitness account. I was like, I'm going to be a fitness YouTuber, and I want to create a similar legacy to what Etika had. So to me, like, this stuff really means the world. Like, this is what I want to do for a living. Like, you know, everybody's like, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to do this, whatever. Like, nah, I want to be an actual influencer. Like, I want to be somebody who does YouTube, who makes videos, who makes inspiring content for a living, and I want to create like a community, like an army of people that are like-minded. And the reason I want to do this is because I want to start a clothing brand, a clothing company. Not just clothing. I don't want to keep it limited to that. Like, I want to eventually expand to, you know, the this universe is the limit. Like, there is no freaking limit for the company that I have in mind. But clothing will be first. Like, clothing is going to be the first venture that we're going to conquer. Eventually, I want to move into like accessorizing. Like, who knows? Like, blender bottles or water bottles. Like, all these other things, like accessories and stuff like that. Jewelry. Literally, there is no limit. Like, for me, like with what I want this company to be. Like, I want it to be everywhere. Obviously, I can't say what the name is, but I already have the name in mind. I just have to figure out all that legal stuff down the line. But I want to start this company with sort of this, not necessarily image, but the idea in mind, the fact that like humans themselves as a whole are like incredible. It's hard to explain, but it's what I want to do is like, the goal in mind for the company is I want to have a pretty significant amount of, all funds dedicated towards suicide prevention and mental health issue, like societies, like all that stuff, like research, everything behind it, charities, all of that. Like, I want a pretty significant chunk of what I make, from the company to go into that. I need to figure out the percentages first, but I do want that to be a pretty significant amount. This company is like the true dream, though. Like, the dream that I always say I'm following. Every single post I always do hashtag embrace your dreams, which is a quote from Final Fantasy, which is a video game. Huge nerd, as I said. I have this sort of dream of coming up with this clothing company that has the whole face of the brand or the company is like, the idea that we can make it through, these issues or these problems that we all have deep down, because just because somebody is all sunshine and rainbows or always smiling does not mean that they are good in here, right? Or up here. And so I want it to be sort of, not necessarily normalized, but I feel like there is a problem with society in general. It's very frowned upon to be open about having issues with your mental health, or people. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. People who've tried to take their lives or shut out from like everybody in their, sometimes their family, but sometimes their friends. They treat them differently, and it's almost disgusting to me, because the thing is that just because you're not diagnosed with anything doesn't mean that you don't have problems. But the thing is, like, literally, I think everybody does, right? To a certain degree. And so I think it needs to be normalized and accepted. I think in recent times we're getting there, but I want this company or this clothing brand or this brand in general, like, if you're repping that, if you see somebody on the street who's wearing that, like, like, this person has made it. They've come to terms with who they are. You know what I mean? So I think just the idea of that alone is like, I could talk about it forever. I could literally talk about it forever, because like, I've thought about this all the time. I've spent countless nights boundlessly overthinking in bed just about this, because like, I want this to happen. I want to make this happen, and I know I'm going to make it happen, but it's just a matter of getting to a point where I know I can make it happen. I know I can have X amount of people wearing this brand within this time. Like, what I personally want to do is with Instagram, like, the people that have supported me for so long, like, I want those people to be like my first athletes. Like, I already have a few in mind that like, I know I want them to be representing my brand, or them to wear these clothes, right? Like, I want to help everybody who's helped me get where I am. And so with starting the YouTube, I just feel like if I'm consistent on here, if I'm consistently who I am, which I'll never not be, right? Like, I literally am always myself. I will never be fake. I will never be a liar, because I dislike people who lie to their audience about with fitness, with their use of substances, and I never want to be that type of person. So I will always be myself, and I think by being myself, I can develop or garner a good enough following that people will back this idea, And a big thing in my life is always been dressing up, like wearing nice clothes or looking good, because I am totally behind the whole idea, look good, play good, look good, feel good, dress up and you feel amazing. And I think that definitely has like 100% benefits towards how you feel about yourself, how you perceive the world around you is based on how you dress up. And so I think clothing, I've always loved wearing nice clothes. Like, literally my gym fits, everybody's like, oh my god, your fits are always fire, right? And even if it's one person saying that, I think my fits are fire, and I am confident with my fits, because that's just how it is. Like, I just like how I look in this clothes. And so the way I view it is, if I can create a clothing company that people are going to want to wear this clothes, and when they wear it they feel good, they feel better about themselves, they feel better about their physique, or whatever. If they're wearing it in the gym, if they're wearing it out to a bar, they are confident wearing this clothing, perfect. Like, that is the goal. Like, that is the 100% goal, because like the impact that looking good can have up here is amazing. So I want this company to be that for somebody. Like, I wear certain clothes that I'm like, wow, I feel really good in this. For example, like, I really like wearing Young LA jeans because they fit around the quads really nicely and I look good in them. So I feel really good when I wear those jeans on. I put those on, I'm like, I'm that guy, right? And so I want people to feel the same way with my company. And I think that partnered with the very big donations towards charities for suicide prevention and a lot of just mental health research and stuff like that. I think those two together like just blend so well, to the point where like this is just, I love it. Like, I can think about it more and more and more. I just need to make it happen. And I was thinking about that the one time. I was like, Instagram is at a pretty slow point. Like, engagement's pretty low. They just did like a whole update, and so reels and pictures just are not doing as well. And I was like, I need to focus on something else. And I was like, it's time. Like, I had a good conversation with one of my friends, and we were talking about filming ourselves. I was like, yeah, I don't know, it's hard to film myself. And then he's like, well, I just sit on my tripod, and I'm like, yeah, you're right? Like, there's no excuse to not do something I've always wanted to do. And that 100% applies to you as well watching this. Like, if there is something you want to do, you have no reason, excuse, whatever. If you want it, you will just do it. Because the thing is like, thoughts are just thoughts, but like actions actually create results. So you can think about this all you want, but unless you're not doing something, it's never going to happen. And so I was like, I gotta start YouTube. I have to start YouTube. And I don't care if 20 people watch this video, which is probably what's gonna happen, but down the line, people are gonna go back to this video. People are gonna see who this guy is, like who I am. And they're gonna be like, wow, I really like this idea, or I like this guy, like I want him to succeed with his dream, And the thing is because it is my dream, it's what I want to do, I'm going to succeed. So it's not even a debate of, if or how, it's just when. Like, it's going to happen. So that's the thing. Like, it's, this is like one of my, I think this is going to be my 4th or 5th video. I did a video earlier. I think it had to be like almost a year ago, and it was like, start my YouTube channel, I'm going to be this consistent, whatever. And then I didn't meet up to my word, and I didn't actually stick to my word, and I didn't actually post consistently, and I never posted from that video on. But this point, I set up like a schedule. I know exactly what I'm doing when I'm filming now. I know exactly what I'm doing when I'm editing. I know editing takes forever, so I have to give myself a lot of time. But the thing is I'm going to make this happen. Like, this page, this YouTube channel, is not just going to be a channel that has 3 videos and then just dies, right? Because I need this to happen. This is the dream that I have for myself. This is what I've visualized in front of me. And as I said earlier, a thought is just a thought. It's just an idea. But an action is going to create results. And my action towards my dream is starting this YouTube channel and taking this really seriously. So we're going to see where this goes. I'm looking forward to it because, the people who are here now, a few people from my Instagram have subscribed. It means the absolute world. Like, I know that these people are so real, and I'm going to do what I can to make this page as entertaining as possible, so that I can get their, full support. Like, I already do. They literally are subscribed to my YouTube. They're subscribed to my life. So I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that what I post is good for them, to the point, down the line, oh, who's your favorite YouTuber? It's actually this really small account. It's this guy, Davey Swoll, so word of mouth goes so far. So we're going to see where this can go. We're going to see where I can take this. And I'm really looking forward to it. This is probably going to be a long video, so if you did watch this or listen, it's probably better to listen to. I don't really know how often I was looking at the camera, but I'm new at this. What do you expect, right? I'm going to get better every single video, I promise. So if you made it this far, I absolutely love you. I hope it was entertaining and you can at least somewhat resonate with what I had to say. I think we're going to take this page and we're going to go places, for sure. So I'm really looking forward to it. This will be posted on Friday, so I hope you have a good weekend. And I will be posting a collab video with my best friend Alex on Monday. So I will see you then.